Sadly guys, I haven't been able to make as many YouTube videos as I would like about this car, but it is time to sell the SAAB 9.5. So I wanted to make kind of a quick informal video just to showcase the car a little bit so that potential buyers can see everything about this particular car and also the features that it's got. So I've only had the car for about 4 months. I've replaced quite a few things in the engine, including the direct ignition coil pack, the spark plugs of course, the crank position sensor, the coolant bypass valve, and the evaporative bypass valve or canister. I have also replaced the SAAB Scania badges or emblems on the front and the hood. So to kind of start things off, this car is a project car. I'm sure you noticed in my walk around the dent and scuffing back here, especially on the rear bumper. I've been looking for a bumper skin there to replace that, but I haven't been able to find one from a junkyard, and I know they're about 170 bucks online. So what happened here is the car was involved in a minor rear end collision. My sister was driving, she pulled out in front of a truck and it hit her, I guess, right in the tail end. You can see that there is a small dent there on the hood. It's barely noticeable unless you get up close. And then of course the side here was the worst, where we had to replace the tail light and also the back panel. The bumper needs replaced, but like I said, I haven't had any luck finding them. And this is a little bit dented up. Let me see if I can focus. So that is a little bit dented up, but I think you could probably sand it down and paint it with a white coat there to make it less noticeable. The trunk still works. So before we owned this car, it was driven probably about 10 years by high schoolers, meaning that it hasn't been, I would say it hasn't been greatly taken care of or well maintained. The engine isn't running as good as it could be, and of course there are dents and dings throughout. Under the hood, it's packing a B235 2.3 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that brand new from the factory put out around 260 horsepower. I'm guessing that nowadays it's nowhere close to that, but it is still very zippy and fun to drive. So I mentioned everything that I have replaced on this particular car. These are said to be very reliable engines, but also, as I mentioned before, this car was driven by high schoolers and it hasn't been very well maintained. Therefore, there is something still wrong with the engine. I could talk about that more if you're interested in seeing the car, but I definitely would not purchase this vehicle to be your reliable daily driver. However, as a project car, it could be something fun, or if you're more knowledgeable about these particular engines, then it could be a very good car for you. Here in the engine bay you can see some oil that was leaking. I've since corrected those lines and patched a few things up. Currently the car is not throwing any check engine lights. It is running overall decently as far as the motor is concerned. However, it does surge. Sometimes it seems to lack power or can't make up its mind. And eventually, if you drive it long enough, especially around city, the car will stall out and leave you stranded for about 45 minutes while it sits to cool down before it can restart and be driven again. I would say that the interior of the car is in pretty good condition. Other than maybe needing a detailing, the cloth seats are very comfortable. I don't see any rips, tears, or major stains on them. In fact, the only real blemishes inside this car that I would mention would be the broken air vent here at the back, and also the stain here on the center console. Another couple of things to note about the car are this melted spot here on the dash, and I believe that those 4 dots you see are just sticky residue that can be cleaned off. As far as all the features are concerned, they're all working. Every time the key is turned on, the car checks itself and asks you to test the brake lights, which when you do, it will inform you that the brake lights have failed. That can be cleared by pushing a button here on the information display. I am not sure exactly what that means, as all of the brake lights are currently working. You can also see here that the climate control LCD has a few dying pixels on the side, and I have also replaced the SAAB information display ribbon in the back to correct these pixels here, and now it is working. There's a few dark ones, but it is working good. I've been averaging about 18 miles per gallon in this car. Granted, I don't drive it anywhere near fuel efficient. On the highway, this car has got around 30 miles to the gallon, and of course in city it's going to get a lot less. All of the features, like I said, work in this car, especially the fun sport mode button, which changes the way that your transmission shifts. I'm going to go ahead and put it in drive and show you what sport mode looks like there. That light comes on and says sport, and then the transmission shifts a little bit more sporty, and of course it keeps your turbo spooled up for more power from the engine. Go ahead and put that back in park. So this car has around 134,000 miles on it. Like I said, if you're handy with these engines or with these vehicles, this could probably make a reliable driver, but I wouldn't buy it thinking that it's going to be. We've had nothing but problems since we got it. Now that's not because SAAB is an unreliable car or manufacturer, but simply because this particular car hasn't been well maintained. Now I've done my best since I've owned it to treat it with love and to replace what I've felt needs replacing. It could use a good detailing on the inside and outside. Something that I forgot to mention, and that you can't really tell just by looking at the car, is that I've been told that the alignment cannot be completed properly because the two front struts are shot, and there's also something on the back rear axle that's needing replaced, something with the suspension there. But the car really does drive great on the highway. It feels great. I think it would feel even better if those were to be replaced. Tried to get a good shot of the tires there, guys. They're a little bit dry rotted, but they should have only about 2,000 miles on them. So I would drive on them cautiously, but definitely have some life left there. Then of course here's the trunk, guys, to kind of finish our tour. It's complete with the SAAB roadside kit, and also down here, if you open up the latch, it has the original SAAB donut and wheel jack kit in there. So thank you guys for watching this quick video that I threw together at the last minute. If you are seeing it, it's probably because you're interested in the car. If you are still interested in the car, if you've liked what you've seen, go ahead and hit me up with a private message. Please hit the thumbs up button to support my channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you guys next time.